Morning all, how are we doing? Sorry, I'm always late on a Thursday. Always late. Right, where am I? I'm still sweating from my spin class. It takes me about an hour to stop sweating. A sweaty person. How's everybody doing? Morning David, morning Trevor. Start with where we were yesterday. I closed basically everything out yesterday. Banked 0.57% yesterday in the end. I closed out the pound odd for minus $10 or something, just flat basically, and closed everything else out. So this is the new ECN account basically, which has just got Oz New Zealand running in it. So everything else got closed yesterday. So closed out pound odd. It's not going anywhere basically. So I got out as we pushed up again. Where are we? Yesterday, yeah. So we basically pushed up off of yesterday's low again. So I got out of that one. US dollar yen, I closed out at the highs there as we broke the highs. I had a feeling this was going to do a stop run on this liquidity. So the moment it's pulled back and seems to be doing that, but it might well go. But I've taken a fair bit out of this already. We seem to be holding this area at the minute, and there's not really any weakness showing in the yen. Had a little bit of a push yesterday for a temporary push, so not a lot, but enough to hold everything else back. So Euro US dollar I think was the other thing. Yeah, got out Euro US dollar yesterday. Nice position that, so I milked that multiple times. I had a profit there, I had a profit there, I had all that profit there, that one in profit, and that's the only one I'd take a loss on. So that was a really nice trade. Again, it's not going anywhere. The reason for getting out yesterday was we do not seem to be making any progress in any direction on anything. And what I don't want is things to get down to range lows, which is where we're approaching now, and then bounce back up and just literally just sitting in, going into profit, into drawdown, into profit, into drawdown, which is why I was banking, adding again, because every time we bounce off the highs of the range, just short it and get out. That's all I did with it. So that one, and I think there was something else, but I can't remember what it was. But anyway, virtually flat, apart from Aussie New Zealand. Aussie New Zealand I've taken too small a position on as well. Unfortunately, that should have been about a 0.4, but I only took a 0.15 on it because I couldn't remember the lot size, and didn't have the VPS ready for the EA. So I've got the VPS booted now with the new account. So the EA is running on Aussie New Zealand, and as you can see, it should be taking 0.46s, and I took a 0.15. So that actually, what's the ADR on it? 68. So that's done 3/4 of an ADR. So actually, it should have been a nice 3/4, 0.5% or so. But anyway, so yeah, so that's where I am at the minute. News-wise today, we've got OPEC again all day today. We had first day of OPEC yesterday, second day of OPEC today. This afternoon we got CAD GDP, and we've got PCE for US dollar, all ahead of the New York Open. So those are your main news events this afternoon. So potential volatility on the CAD. I don't think we will. The oil figures, filter, where are you? The oil figures. Yesterday, where's 330 gone? 17th of June, 24th of June. What? Why is that showing that? That's weird. Not seen that before. Anyway, oil figures 24th of June. This is 28th. That's confused me. Is that yesterday's figures? 3:30 yesterday. Where are we? Right, there you go. So there's crude. Minus 2.76 off a forecast of 0.95. So it's not massive out. It's a couple of million and a bit barrels, so not a lot. So yeah, no real impact off of the crude yesterday anyway. That's weird. I've not seen that before. There's something wrong with... just refresh the calendar. No, they have put that in a special. I wonder why they've put that. The previous two figures. Normally it's in that format. For some reason it hasn't gone into history. That's why they've done it. Look. They broke it. Anyway, don't worry about that. So yeah, so we've got more. Basically yesterday obviously we had the crude figures. We had the OPEC meeting starting. I don't think there's going to be a lot come out today. So I don't think we need to worry too much about stuff. But CAD this afternoon, well, we've got this. So this is volatility for the CAD. That's volatility for the CAD. And then we've got the US dollar volatility as well. Tomorrow's a bank holiday in Canada. Not that we need to worry about that too much. And we've got PMIs for the US dollar tomorrow afternoon. So fairly light day, mainly CAD, a little bit of US. So we're looking for the US to get kicked into touch. We haven't had any moves on the US dollar for a while now. The main news from yesterday was NATO deciding to power up in Europe. Afternoon, Trevor, Diamond, Ladder, Jesse, Harry. I'll have a look at pound CAD in a minute. The main news yesterday was obviously NATO. So we've now got the US stationing 2 new squadrons of fighters, F-35s in the UK, within obviously fast reaction striking distance of Russia. We've got all the countries at the top, basically, apart from Norway now, entering NATO. So there's another 800 miles of Russian border is now got NATO on it, with Sweden and Finland up there, isn't it? Joining NATO. Romania is being bolstered. Poland, we've got new bases going in and troops going in there. So basically, NATO is fortifying Europe. So it's not looking particularly good. I was waiting yesterday for a reaction from Putin or anybody from Russia, really, but we've had nothing. They've been very, very quiet so far. Yeah, so all that came out last night was there is no use setting an end date to the special military operations. Hang on. We did get something last night. Didn't see that. If NATO infrastructure, because I haven't had a look at the news this morning because I've been doing other things. If NATO infrastructure is deployed in Finland and Sweden, Russia will have to respond in kind. What's that mean? Putting infrastructure in Finland and Sweden? I don't rule out tensions will emerge as our relationship with Finland and Sweden after they join NATO. Yeah, so basically saying we're not going to rule out attacking those two if they join NATO. So we need to be a little careful because obviously the Ukraine situation is starting to flare up a little bit more. We obviously had, you know what happened when Ukraine got invaded. We need to be aware, obviously, if something like that is going to happen again, we are going to get some huge volatility entering the market. So just be aware, if things start to move very, very quickly, we need to be getting out very, very quickly, i.e. if stuff starts to go the wrong way, if you're in any positions and all of a sudden there's an announcement of something to do with Russia and you see stuff tanking 200-300% ADR, get out, because it's going to just carry on tanking, exactly what we had before. So just need to be aware of the economic situation and the situation with Ukraine. Ladder, I think they don't know themselves. No, well, it's a funny. I don't get why they call it a special operation, special military operation. It's just games, isn't it? Russia just thinks that they are better than everybody else, and it's the whole Nazi thing, isn't it? Over and over again, it's exactly what we had the Aryan race with the Nazis, and they were like, well, we're better than everybody else. You know, what can you do? But anyway, so just be aware of that. So keep your exposure tight. Do not overexpose yourself on anything, especially Euro and Swiss. Those will be the two that will get the most impact, and the pound, because we are well in with the US now. Putin's going to see us as a military base for the US. It isn't going to help anybody if that does escalate. So just be careful. ADRs today, nothing. We've got a couple of weeklies here. We're on Thursday morning, so these are worth having a look at. We had a couple of ADRs as well yesterday, nothing much though. So Swiss yen, again our friend the Swissy, every single one that's hit the weekly range is the Swiss franc. So we have had the Swissy hit its average weekly range, so it's putting a very nice big 2.5 ADR push to the upside. We got a reaction to that yesterday, and it's absolutely tanking this morning. Wow. Where's the Euro Swiss? Okay, the Swiss franc is tanking. Pound Swiss will be popping as well by the looks of things. Yeah. Okay, so Swissy. So anybody getting any Swissy mean reversion trades? If you're in them, well done. That you've managed to time it right. Yesterday was the day. If you're already in them, fingers crossed this is your move. Sorry, markets are open. Have I got the crickets on? I haven't, have I? I thought it was a bit quiet. I didn't see what happened at the open. Bearish. Sorry, let me just... wrong one. Sorry, one sec. Where's my yes gone? There it is. So I got some short entry pendings, looking for a breakdown on the indices. So I just wanted to keep a quick eye on those. So yes, so Swiss franc is starting to power up. So we've got a range break high. So with all these Swissies, we've obviously got the rate announcement change here, and this whacking great propulsion gap. Then we put in another move back down out of there, filled that one, pushed down, put another whacking great move on the break there. We didn't quite get up to test that. So there are very, very big targets on all of these Swiss francs to the upside. This is the first sign of any sustained weakness we've had. I mean, it's a say sustained weakness. We've had a couple of hours of push on the Swissy, or drop on the Swissy, which isn't a lot, is it? And all of these pairs, let me just move my pen down a bit, it's a bit thick. All of these pairs have got a lot of potential resistance to get through on the way back up. So any one of these zones here can act as a resistance for this on the way back up. It was very extended on the hourly. We've been very extended on the 4 hourly. So these are the mean reversion trades which I would normally be jumping all over, thinking these are fantastic opportunities. We're going to get a lovely big profit take move. I haven't taken any of them, as you know, because it was a fundamental shift in an unexpected rate change. So I do think a lot of people will be speculatively short on this for the last couple of weeks, and they will start to take some profit. How much of it is speculative and how much of it is literally shifted into the Swiss franc because they want their money in there, I don't know. And this is the thing, we can't find out, and you only know once it's happened whether it's speculative or not. So very good rejection on the New Zealand Swiss. The Euro Swiss, again, it's just rolling over. This thing just came pounding down straight into support, funnily enough. So that might be why we're getting a little bit of a reaction off of it on the euro, but who knows? Pound Swiss, nice reaction there and a push up. So got to be a bit careful of this. It could well do exactly what we had here. You know, push up, accumulate, drop, push up, sit there for a bit, and then drop. So I'm still not going to long this. I'm going to short it if and when we get back up somewhere near the 24. But I'm not going to take a mean reversion on it because I'm just worried about that movement. So didn't get gathered up into that trade. Yeah, so all the Swissies are extended on the weeklies. Whoops, sorry, wrong one. So up to you if you want to take those. They're extended on the weekly. Because it's extended, it's exactly the same as ADR. Just because it's got extended doesn't mean it's going to pull back. It means it's extended. That's all. It's a market condition. So it could either get extended and accumulate and push, or it could get a bounce, or it could get extended, accumulate and bounce and drop. We don't know. One of those three things is going to happen when you get to an ADR or an average weekly range extension. So not guaranteed it's going to go back the other way, but it certainly looks good this morning. So if you're in those, if you're in with one position already from somewhere around here or even back here, you want to be scaling in, making sure that you're taking advantage of this move if it continues. Hourlies, nothing, flat as a pancake. 4 hourlies, we've got a few things to look at. So the hourlies still dead. We've basically, we keep going into these accumulations, don't we? A quick push and an accumulation, a quick push and an accumulation, which is why we're getting the 4 hour extensions and nothing on the hourlies. So there's nothing to look at there. 4 hourlies, we'll have a look at those. Trevor, I'm flat after yesterday, 2.4%. Very well done. Good man. 2.4, it's a good day. Sorry, I'm just keeping an eye. We're not making any movement at the moment. We're just sort of rotating at the open. We'll have a quick look at the pound. Which one do we want to look at? Pound CAD for Harry. We'll have a quick look at that and then we'll do the indices. Let me just turn the crickets down a little bit. So yeah, pound CAD. Obviously, it's very extended. We've got a little bit of movement this morning. That movement looks to be pound based to me rather than CAD. I don't know, it could be both actually. A little bit of weakness in the Canadian dollar as well, so you're getting a big move off of that at the minute. We didn't get a reversal alert. It's pulled back down into the wick of this big strong move, so I'm looking for shorts on it rather than a mean reversion trade, because I want to be short the pound and long the CAD at the minute. So this is starting to pull back nicely, so anywhere up here I'll be looking for shorts, same as I took the shorts there. Well, actually I took the shorts and got out about here, should have left it, but so yeah, I'd be a bit wary about taking a long on it. It may well get a bit of movement. Don't forget we've got CAD news this afternoon, so you just need to be aware of that, because 1:30 this afternoon we've got the GDP figures. So GDP historically is doing well for the CAD. So we've only had a couple of times in the last year where we've had negative GDP. Other than that, it comes out as expected or positive. So it's more likely, because the market is bullish on the CAD. If we get an as expected announcement, it tends to be bullish. If we get a better than expected, it tends to be bullish. So you've got a much higher chance of CAD powering up this afternoon than you had of it dropping. Anything can happen, obviously, but and obviously that would mean negative movement on pound CAD. But it might not be a lot. So I'd be waiting for it to come back up into this area here. By the time we get up there, be ready to take a bounce trade to the short side. Still pushing down. On the indices. So let's have a look at the indices. Holy cow. Wow, that's a melter. Anybody try and do the gap this morning? Wow, that's a big gap. Markets are not happy. I suspect this is to do with NATO. Fear. We're in a risk-off stance in the markets at the moment. Morning, SU. I suspect this is market selling off as a reaction to yesterday's announcement of expanding NATO. So people are getting ready for a potential run-up in tensions. Big sell-off. Got a big gap there. So looking at these on the daily, remember I said yesterday I was looking for a down day. We got the down day yesterday. I had a really good day on one of the accounts yesterday. Banked close to 4k. The other account, however, I lost 2.5. So very mixed day yesterday. I got a little bit slaughtered in the morning and I smashed it in the afternoon. So hey, can't win them all. We have just broken down on the S&P. So yeah, that's nice turn we had has done wonders, and obviously it's dropped it massively on the DAX. So areas to target today, we'd be looking for 124.33 on the DAX. So 1.5 ADR move to the downside potentially for DAX. This thing could well melt all day. This might be one of those trend days where you just do not want to take a profit. You want to get in, wait for a pullback, get in again, wait for a pullback, get in again, and just keep getting in and getting in and getting in and taking 1 bar pullbacks or 2 bar pullbacks like this. Sorry, that was an older version of the chart. But yeah, every single flag, take the break. Every accumulation, take the break. Yeah, if this stops and pauses, pending order, take the break. You can make an absolute killing if we are going to get a strong trend day where we're doing an ADR and a half. Just keep breaking it to the downside. It may not be one of those days, but certainly looks like it at the moment. The market hasn't ticked up once. Nasdaq selling off hard, just flag break. Flag break after flag break after flag break. Globex session pretty stable, and then we sold off. S&P, so yeah, I'm short. I've got short orders on. In fact, I'm going to stick a couple more on. One there. 725. Go 50, 75. Wrong account. 1 sec. Sorry. Switch that one. Just going to put some pendings in. If I'm just playing a, if this carries on, sell-off type day today. So yeah, big moves down across the board. That was the nice reversal we looked at, and it seems to be melting nicely. So I'm looking for next leg down, basically to lows. So for the Dow, we're looking sort of 29,668. S&P, whoops. 36.37, and the Nasdaq down to 11.034. I'm going to stop out on one of those. That's annoying. So yeah, next leg down. So obviously everything we're expecting to melt, continue to melt. No reason why it won't. Economies are shot. We're going into recessions, etc., etc. So it's still bearish on the market. So yeah. So I just need to take one off of this down here. Put that back on. Up there. Break. Gentlemen, I was waiting for the open for movement going up to the gap, and as a result did not get the short at the open. Yeah, difficult one. Normally I would be going gap fill, but this is obviously to do with what happened yesterday. They're not happy this morning, are they? So we'll see how far it drops and how hard it drops. But you know, when we get these days every now and again where it literally just melts, and could be one of those today. So we'll see. It either will or it won't. We've just got to get positioned and hope that we get into them, basically. Right. Let's look at the 4-hour extensions. I'm looking to get into something today, ideally, because I've only got the Aussie New Zealand on, and that isn't going anywhere at the moment. So I'm going to see if we can find something to get into as a position. Swiss yen, I'm not interested in. The Swissy, I will be interested when we pull back further. I want to see a decent move on this. So if we get a nice bit of weakness back down into this area on the Swiss yen, if we can get an ADR hit to the downside, I'll be interested in maybe starting a long position there and then scaling in if it does drop further. But yen should continue to weaken, and it's about time we had a little bit of weakness on the Swissy. It's been so strong for the last week. It's due a drop. Euro CAD extended to the downside. That's only just got extended and it's pulled back out now. Big wick rejection there. So that might not, I mean, it's very extended. It's difficult to take a short there. I don't want to long the euro against the CAD at the moment. It's much more of a short. I suspect that pound CAD is doing something similar. I know it's a little bit stronger, the pound. So Euro CAD, potentially you've got a pullback, although I don't like the look of that candle at all. So that's not what you want to see if you've been longing a mean reversion trade. So yeah, shorts still, excuse me, on that one. But the short was up here, so it's too far down to take a short on that. Euro Swiss, not looking to long that. This is a lovely support here, but we're down at the 1 pretty much. This is where we bounced last time, so a big round number. Ordinarily I would be looking for a nice bounce off of this. Just can't trade against the Swissy at the minute, just with the strength of the Swiss franc, but technically it looks very good. At the moment, if you look on the daily and the 4-hour though, it doesn't look good, does it? We've literally, that's the reaction we got. We didn't even break those highs of the last 8 hours, and now we're looking and we've just made a new low. So not looking particularly good. It's dropped so far, so fast. You would expect there's got to be some kind of pullback on it, but fundamentally this is completely the wrong way around for a long at the moment. So although it's very nicely extended, it's not showing any signs of strength. I think the play on this one, if you wanted to take this long, because we have had a bit of Swiss franc weakness coming in. So I was just seeing someone said no live, Fabio. I forgot to post the live room in the group this morning, so whoops. Sorry, it's always too rushed on a Thursday. The play on this one is a pending order above the highs there. So I would go with the hourly reversal alert. It's going to be the same as the 15-minute by the looks of things anyway. So if we manage to break back above this whacking great candle, then potentially we've got a long opportunity. We need to show some sign of strength, basically, and or weakness continuing in the Swiss franc. The euro's not got a lot going for it at the moment, so it's a tricky long to play, but we are very extended. We're down below the 80s, which is, it's very unusual for us to stay embedded below 80. It takes something pretty strong to do that. So are the black lines drawn by you on the chart? Yes. Sorry, one sec. So I've got my platform set up to cancel all orders, basically wipe the orders clean when I get stopped out or when I exit with a profit. So it's annoyingly, it keeps removing my pending orders. I got money 2 accounts, so I'm doing the same trades on both accounts. Excuse me. So yeah, that's not a bad looking long opportunity, Euro Swiss, but you want to see some strength. So you want to make sure this has broken above there, and we've got a decent, push basically. I'm gonna. I just don't want to take it at the moment. I'm so bearish on the euro and I'm so bullish on the Swiss. It's just completely counterintuitive to me to go long on this, but it will probably work because I'm not doing it, and you want to look to get up to here. So that would be your target, somewhere around there. Oh, it's pushing again. Right, Euro US dollar. Same thing. We got. It looks like we got euro. Euro basically pushed up and it's collapsed today, basically by the looks of things. Yeah, not having a good morning, euro. Obviously, this is to do with NATO, I suspect, as well. No news come out, so. So euro US dollar, again, it's the wrong side for me. It's extended. As you can see, I've been shorting this to death, and we're not getting anywhere. We're just stuck at the moment in a multi-week accumulation with a nice area of balance and accumulation to try and smash through. So I've been trying to short this to get down to these lows. It can't even get past these highs over here. So at the moment, if we get back up somewhere towards the 24 and anywhere near the highs of that range, I shall be shorting again. I don't want to long it though. I want to short it. So this is a short. The US dollar is neutral strong. The euro is weak. So yeah, I'm looking for shorts. Just can't get any momentum on it. And the time I get out is when we get that one big candle, which is typical, isn't it? But yeah, I'm looking for pullbacks and shorts on the euro US dollar. Pound CAD we've already covered, so that's having a bit of a push this morning, but I would be wary of that because of the CAD news this afternoon. Pound Swiss, it's not making any headway now. It's dropping again. Very extended, but again, this is one I want up here. I want to be shorting. Pounds US dollar. Want to short it. Again, I want to pull back on this really. We've pulled straight back into resistance there. And it's starting to roll over, so it's just not quite high enough for me. Again, this one, pending order under the lows on the 4 hour and get gathered up as it goes down is probably the best play. You've had a reversal alert on M15, or no, you're just about to get a reversal alert on M15, but you're getting in after a multi-day push down with no pullback. So it's a little bit of an aggressive entry getting in there, but could well work. But I want it up here somewhere really. New Zealand dollar CAD, morning and earlier. New Zealand dollar CAD again, nicely extended. Wrong way for me. I want to be up here, taking shorts. I want to get some extension to the upside to get in short. So we've just taken out these lows. So this, a pullback into here would give us a nice continuation of market structure down. So anywhere back up here. So again, looking for push before it pulls back down. New Zealand dollar Swiss is the same as all the other Swissies. This could be it. That sign of weakness on the Swiss franc we had seems to be waning very fast. We'll see. I can't take this long. I can't take anything long against the Swissy. But you just get the feeling it's going to go. I got a feeling it's going to go. But every time you think it's going to go, it goes into an accumulation and drops. Accumulate, drop, accumulate. It's just it's what it's doing at the moment. It's very hard to look at this and say, is there any fundamental reason this shouldn't just carry on doing what it's doing at the moment? No. But I don't want to short it when it's this extended, so I just can't get into any of these at the minute. They're just not right. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, we've got a lovely support bounce going on at the moment down here, but again, I want to be shorting this. I want this to be pushing up somewhere. Even if it does a 50% retracement on here, I might be interested in getting into this. So an ADR hit to the upside. But there's nothing to get into. This, I'm out of everything this week. I've done pretty much 2.5% this week. So everything I've got into, I've got out of because it's done what I was expecting it to do. So I'm just waiting for things to set up now. Nothing's setting up at the minute for me. So I'm quickly just going to whiz through everything on H4 and just have a quick look to see if anything does jump out. If anybody's got any other pairs they want to look at in any more detail, then let me know. That's a lovely mean reversion, that Aussie Swiss, just too deep. It's too scary. Right, so Aussie Yen. So this is a potential. We've got symmetrical triangle formation on this. We're holding the 24 very nicely. We're not going anywhere at the minute, so we are accumulating, and obviously you can see we're coiling in the symmetrical triangle, so we're poised for a break. I did spot some yen, some Bank of Japan stuff fly past when I was whizzing through the news earlier. Housing starts. Industrial output is down. Whew. Not just down, blimey. That's not good. Foreign stock investment, look at that. They're just buying up anything but their own currency at the moment. They're stuffed, aren't they? They're pulling money out of Japanese stocks and putting it into other stocks. Foreign bond investments. Okay, well, yeah, it's still not good for the yen. Nothing positive coming out at the end. So this looks like a good little long opportunity. So I might stick one on Aussie yen for a long. Might as well go on M5. So I'm going to get in the next reversal alert on Aussie yen long. I'm going to start a position on that. That looks pretty good to me. I just like it because it's coiled. The Aussie's not strong at the moment, but the yen obviously is very, very weak. So any continuation yen weakness I think be nice to jump in on that one. We may well get some Aussie strength coming through because we've had virtually nothing. You see I traded it here and got out, and it's just not gone anywhere. So it's the trade I wanted to take, but we haven't had any progress. So hopefully this is the coil before the pop. A little bit of bullishness coming through on the indices now, a little bit of a pullback. So yeah, hopefully that's the pullback. The accumulation before the push up on the Aussie yen. So I'm going to get in one of those. Aussie New Zealand I'm already in with a long. It's too small a position, but the EA is going to get me into another long on that in a minute. Again, longed it, exited just before we got the break. Now we've broken and accumulated. I'm looking for a push back up to those highs. Aussie US. Aussie US is accumulating. The support's holding at the moment. Again, nice little wedge formation. It's coiling, ready for a break, but I would expect this to break to the downside. But at the moment it's going nowhere, so I'm not really interested in that at the moment. CAD Swiss, no. See, this is the one that is holding up well. So you noticed all the other Swissies. We've had that accumulation drop. The CAD, we've gone into a sort of upside down flag. We haven't. The CAD has held itself very, very well. So if we are starting to see a little bit of neutrality or weakness in the Swiss after the push, this afternoon's CAD figures could well promote this and pump this very high. So the CAD Swiss and the US Swiss would be the two that I would be looking at. You see I took one there and got stopped out on it, but I would be looking to use stops on these. So reversal alert obviously would be there, M15, which would basically be buying into yesterday's high. So that, I think, is probably a good looking trade, and you'd want to break the previous day's high as well today to just show some signs of strength, really. But that, to me, is probably the one I would be more interested in than anything else on the Swissy. We've got a decent level of support, which is held. So yeah, that looks pretty good for a long. If you want to take, I mean, it's your decision is always going to be: do I want to go counter trend against this Swiss franc, with the market being so massively bullish on the Swissy? It's a very difficult decision. Everything that has a big move has an undoing at some point. It's timing. Are we ready now to do this pullback? And is this pullback going to be strong enough to get back anywhere near where we started when the rate announcement came in? I just don't know the answer to that question. So it's a very risky mean reversion. But the reward is huge if you can hold it. So, and I think if it does happen, I think it will happen very, very quickly. Just stuck in, we're just rotating this volume profile at the moment on the indices. All that buying that we just had coming in has all been absorbed, the whole lot. So all this buying we've just had, you might have seen on Tick Strike, we didn't make any progress. Now we are. So we're just basically rotating this volume around the point of control at the minute. Let's see if they can get through it this time. If they can, we're likely going to slip up out the highs. Sorry, I'm just doing too many things at once. So yeah, CAD Swiss, that would be my choice. So stop under the 4 hour or under the weekly low. If they take that and then push back up, that would be a really good sign. This I assumed was going to be our wick off spring here, but we didn't get back up to these highs at all. So this could be our low, that could be our wick off spring. As long as we come back up to these sorts of highs and rest up there, I think that's ready to go. So you just got to be a bit careful with it, but this is a pretty good looking long opportunity, I think, on this one out of all of the Swissies. If you fancy it, I'm not going to take it. CAD Yen, potentially good look for longs. We're not making any progress on the CAD Yen. See, I got out of it there. Was targeting these highs. We did a lovely pullback and push. So you could just take a break. I think we'll probably get up today on the CAD. But it's very, very slow, as everything is. We're just in an accumulation on everything at the moment. Some of them are more V-shaped, but you know we're not really making massive progress anywhere on anything. So grindy longs, any kind of pullback towards ADR today, potentially looking for longs on it. But obviously the CAD news is coming out at 1:30, so you'd have to push down very hard in the next 4 hours, basically. To get an opportunity to get in long on that one. If you want to, you could just take a reverse alert and assume this is going to be the break. That's what I did on the US dollar yen. And you know, I got out fairly quick on it, so looks pretty good. Not right for me though. Swiss yen, I'm not interested in shorting it, not interested in longing it all the way out there. Euro odd. It's just a mess. No idea. Could go either way. Just a mess. EuroCAD short. So obviously we had the short play on this one. This is one we looked at, which is on the 4-hour extension. So waiting for this to pull back to get into a short position. Euro Swiss we've looked at. Euro pound again, just tiny ADR 60. It's just not moving anywhere. Grinding up. If you take a trade on this, be prepared to sit in it for a week to get a whole half ADR out of it. It's just not worth mucking about with at the minute. Euro yen, Euro New Zealand, very much the same as Euro pound at the moment, not going anywhere. I kind of want to short this up here, but I just don't think you're going to get more than an ADR out of it. Half an ADR if you're lucky. And obviously there's every chance we get some weird rate news and the euro has a bit of a pop. So I'd rather be looking down here, I think, at the moment for longs. I just don't know on this at the minute. It's a difficult one to trade. That's why I'm sticking clear. Euro US dollar looking for shorts. Want to see a bit more of a pullback. Pound odd. I've got two Aussies on, haven't I? Yeah, I can't take this. This doesn't look too bad for a short where we are at the moment. If we break this low, we've got a good chance, I think, of getting back down towards these lows from the previous, from 2 weeks ago. We've got this area which has held up very well, which is going to be a bit of a sticking point. So you've at least got half an ADR move to the downside on it. We got a nice convincing break of this double bottom, push back up, put in a new higher, lower high. We didn't put in a very convincing lower low though. So it's just, again, like everything, it's just not got any legs at the minute. We're not making any headway with any speed. So a break to the downside on this, we've got pretty clear air all the way down to there. So I think that's a pretty good looking short opportunity. M15, the alert was yesterday on the pullback. It was a very quick one. So we've held very nicely this morning. So I think that's a good looking short opportunity. I've got too much odd on myself at the minute though. Pound CAD looking for short, so pull back and then a short. Pound Swiss, we covered. Pound yen, not the strongest yen. Not really interested in that one. Pound New Zealand is a sideways mess. I drew this one on there yesterday. If it gets down to here, look for longs. If it gets up to there, look for shorts. It's not going anywhere. Hasn't gone anywhere all week. Any reason why it should go anywhere? No. Pound US dollar, looking for shorts. Again, the short play has started this week. Looking for a bit of a pullback on this to get in shorts. New Zealand CAD, stop me out, that has. I just want to get onto this. When this goes, I've got a feeling today, if this breaks to the downside today, we're doing a lot of accumulation here. They're building a position. If this breaks to the downside today, I think we're going to get a bit of a drop, a big drop. This morning we pushed down at the open on $55,000 of volume. So far on this pullback, we've only managed to put $15,000 of volume and move 50 ticks up. We pushed down 130 ticks. So I think this has got a lot of weight on it today. I'm just trying to build into a position. I've dropped $600 on it, trying to get into a position short this morning. I'm just trying to load myself into a position to get on this so that if and when it does go, I think we've got a good 30-40 point drop on this today. If it goes, it may well just come back up because it did a little bit too much yesterday. We've got that gap on the DAX as well, but I'm just trying to time myself into the trade. I just can't. It's just not going at the moment. So we're pushing up and rotating back up to the high now above the point of control. We're just literally doing that. Accumulation comes before a pop. In a range for the past hour, Jesse, yeah, got clapped on a break of the short. Yeah, I got clapped twice on a break of the short. But hey, 2 losers. I don't mind taking 3 losers on this because if it goes, it's going to go, and I'm going to scale into it. At the moment, though, the bulls are stepping in. We've just broken out above. We're just retesting the volume high at the minute. So we're just testing this volume area high here. You can't see it, I don't think, but it's either going to slip back up through all this light liquidity. You can't see it because I've got my my silly small screen on. Yeah, we're either going to slip through this or not. If this holds, this volume cluster holds, I think we've got a good chance today of a big move, but we will see. New Zealand dollar CAD shorts based on CAD strength and oil continuation, so I'm looking for this to have a bit of a breather to push down. Again, all these CADs, if we get positive news on the CAD this afternoon, and if anything positive comes out of OPEC today as well, we'll just get that move starting, and it could be a nice big new leg down. So if you want to, with any of these CADs, you could stick the EA on and say just take shorts and just let it gather you up on a short position. New Zealand dollar Swiss, same thing, very strong Swissy, so we're nicely extended, looking for a pullback to get in short. New Zealand dollar yen, solidly accumulating. Aussie dollar yen and New Zealand dollar yen are very, very similar, so just take one or the other. It's exactly where we want it to be. We need some New Zealand dollar strength or Aussie dollar strength to come through to push this higher. US dollar holding, New Zealand dollar, US dollar holding the lows. Again, waiting for some US dollar strength, so I'm looking for a pullback. At the moment, the pullback on this could come anywhere here. So if we do get anywhere, any decent pushes up into this area, I'm going to be interested in shorts. I'm not quite sure if we're going to get that type of movement, because I think US dollar will probably power up before that happens, and we'll just get a bit of a grind down. But yeah, shorts. And US dollar CAD, no clue. We got that bounce. Look, it started bounce. I'm not sure whether this is going to be strong enough though. So I think the CAD potentially will push this back down again today. I think we're going to go into a bit of a range here, a bit like this. So it's not really any opportunities. I'd rather be long than short on it, but the long was down here. But because it's a long against a long, I just don't want to really get involved in it at the moment. US dollar Swiss, it's still holding these lows, but it's struggling. No strength on the US dollar. So if anything, I'd be looking for longs on this one. But again, it's down to you. Swiss franc, do you want to get in front of this or not? It's the same as the CAD. We've got that kind of reverse flag going on. It's holding up. It's trying very, very hard. Not succeeding particularly well, same as the CAD, but it's doing better than all the other pairs. So any kind of weakness in the Swissy, the US Swiss and the CAD Swiss are going to be the ones that are going to take advantage of that. But that is the question mark. Is there going to be any continuous release in this Swiss franc strength? We just don't know. So you're going to get a pop. It's one of those you could sit there and you could say, I'm going to take a break on the H4 highs, and you could get stopped out on it 5 times. When it goes, you get a 10-to-1 out of it. So, you know, it's a 50-50 shot, and it's either going to go or it's not. And US dollar yen, I got out of that one yesterday because I didn't like the double top. There's just not as much strength in the US as I want, and the yen is not as weak as I want. There's no signs of any change, so I want to take a deeper pullback on this, like this one. So if we can get ourselves back down to the 24, I'll go long. If we sit and accumulate, I will probably take the bottom of an accumulation, and I'll take range bound longs if we go into a range. But at the moment it's just not right. So the whole market at the minute is just not it's just not moving far enough anywhere or setting up anywhere that looks really interesting. So all I've got is Aussie yen. Going to take the next reversal alert for a long. Aussie New Zealand, I've already got that silly little long on, but I'm going to take a proper one long at 0.46 when we get the next break to the upside. That's it. Nothing much else to write home about at the minute. A bit crap, isn't it? So we've slipped out. We slipped out the highs on all that buying that you saw coming in, and that's as far as we got. We just did a tiny little rotation up there. So if we slip back down now, I think we've got a good shot. What accounts this on? How many positions have I got on? 3. Let's take that low off. Put it back up there. I'm going to take that break there. So I'm looking basically, if we're going to slip down, this is either going to act, this little node here is going to act as a support, which is where we had loads of buying and then we broke. So they're either going to defend that area and push back, or that's it, they've run out. The buyers have just run out, and then they're going to... We will see. Just had some news come in. German unemployment. Wow, that's a big change. Look at that. 133,000. They forecast -5. Unemployment rate has gone up. So that's negative euro. We were kind of dropping anyway, so that may have been a precursor to that news coming in. So might want to look for shorts on euro today. Well, I say there's nothing much setting up, is there? So I haven't really got much today. Maybe for a drop in New York. What were you talking about, Jesse? Oh, about the indices, yeah. Possibly. We've got a lot of negative delta coming in at the minute. Let me just flick over to big screen. Da, 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 da. Big screen. So the P&L so far, I've got 2 accounts running at the minute, negative 800. So looking basically for to get into a short position that's going to run today in Globex. At the minute, we've put a lot of negative volume in today. So pre-Frankfurt Open, we dropped 26,000 contracts short, pulled back up on 5.6, and then we dropped down to 50,000 contracts. We're pulling up on 20 at the moment. So there's a little bit more strength coming through, but it's all negative still. And at the moment, Delta isn't able to make any progress. So it feels heavy. They don't seem to be able to make any progress out the highs at the moment. So I think we've got a good chance of a drop today. But we'll see. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. If it goes up, I don't really, I can't see any opportunities higher really at the minute on all this negative move, because normally what you would expect to try and play, where's my pen gone? Oh, there. I can't see anything. There we are. What I would expect to see is when we get into these light volume areas, you tend to see price sort of slip through them because there's no volume there, no volume traded there. So anybody that's entered positions will defend the volume clusters. So you tend to get a slip through, which is kind of what we got when we got out the top of this big cluster. We got a slip. We only got to there, and we've built up a load of volume. And it's very even as well, volume. There's no bias long or short on it at the minute. There's no imbalance. So the fact that we've come down so far and so hard pre-market, and we are not able to make moves up very easily, feels very, very heavy. Just feels, they all feel very, very heavy at the minute. So I'm more bearish than bullish at the minute. See all this slip we've had this morning. So, you know, since this morning we've come down, 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 down. This is where we've put in all the volume. So if we can break this volume to the downside, I think we're just going to fall out of bed today. How big did I say? Yeah, this is a 42-inch monitor I run on. I've got a 42-inch in front of me, and I've got two 27 inches to the left and the right. I used to have 6 monitors. There's a picture in the Telegram group of my old setup. I used to have 6 monitors running multiple versions of MT4. And then one of my trading friends bought one of these 42-inch Dell monitors. And he said it's the best thing he's ever done because he's now got one monitor and only has to run one MT4. What's the point in running 6 MT4s on 6 monitors when you can buy one monitor that's the same size as 6 monitors and just run piece of software? And I was like, yeah, why do we have multiple screens? Why not use a massive, great big monitor? It makes logical sense, doesn't it? I don't know why. I think it's I don't know. It's one of those things you see all these trading floors where they've got like loads of monitors everywhere. But you have to think, why? Why not just have a big one with and just have smaller charts like this? I don't know why we do it, but don't really need to anymore. Anyway, so yeah, we're not really making a lot of progress there. So I'm looking to get in short today on the ES if I can. But if the market starts telling me we need to be going long, I will do. So we've pushed up on 15,000 contracts after the pre-market drop. So we have got a little bit of bullish action coming in, but we're not making a lot of progress. So if we don't put in a new high here and we break down on anything more than 1.6 thousand volume, I would say we're probably going to roll over and come down. So, but I need to see some signs of the market telling me that, which at the moment it's not really doing an awful lot. So that's all I've got for you today. There's nothing much else going on at the minute, as I said. So I've not got any opportunities that I want to get into today. I'll be keeping an eye on ADRs in case we get any ADR pushes, but I think the main thing to do today is wait for the news this afternoon with the Canadian dollar and see if we can get into any positions on the CAD. If we get this CAD coming out negative, they're expecting a drop. So if it comes out anything less than 0.3, we might get some push up on the CAD, on everything against the CAD, in which case then I'd be looking for to take reversals after that push has happened. So that's really all. And US dollar, I'm looking for some strength on the US dollar off PCE. If we get that, then we might find that some things to start looking at with the US dollar. But I'm looking for longs on the US dollar. But at the moment, with all the accumulation and the sideways action, I just can't find anything interesting to get into. So I will sit here and wait. It's nice having a nice fresh new dash. Anyway, so that's it. So if anybody needs anything, I'll be in the Telegram group. Sorry if you're in here late and you didn't spot it, but I forgot to put in the Telegram group that the live room was starting this morning because I was running late. So, but always YouTube 7:50 every morning. If you aren't subscribed, hit the notification bell and then you'll just get told, rather than having to rely on me remembering to post in Telegram that I'm going live. So, but you can always watch the replay, which will be up in literally 5 minutes anyway. So, all right, guys. So I'll leave it there. Anything else you need, come into the Telegram group. But other than that, I'll let you know if I get into anything this afternoon. You know what I'm getting into with the Aussie dollar yen. That's the only other thing that I've got set up to go long on at the minute when we get a break of the high, hopefully. But if I do spot anything else today, I'll let you know. What level am I looking at short now? 76.25, but at the moment it doesn't look like it's pulling back. It looks like it wants to go long, so I might have to shift my bias long. Somewhere down by point of control. So we got a lot of buying going on at the moment, and we are making some progress. We're not making massive progress, and look at all these buyers here. Some big orders coming in on the buy side. We're not making a massive amount of progress, so I'm looking basically for all these longs that are pushing really hard to start to give up because they're not making enough progress. If they make decent progress and we fly out the high, then yeah, fine. But I'm just looking for signs of them giving up, and what I'll do is I'll drag my my pending order up underneath clusters. So where we get clusters form, I'm looking for basically them to break out of that cluster. So when you get back to these clusters, what you tend to do is you rotate and you build volume on them, which is when they you know, that's why they grow and grow. Like this one's grown and grown and grown until eventually it does so much volume there it becomes a point of control. But if they do that, quite often what they'll do is they'll build volume and then they'll pop back off up. If they come down and it bounces off of here a couple of times and then breaks, likelihood is it's going to break down from there. So I'll drag this order up just below the volume cluster and look to get taken in on a break of that volume. But I want to see a load of sellers coming in with me. I want to see lots of sell volume building, and I want to see the Nasdaq, the Dow and the Russell go with it, all the ones over here. But at the minute we've got a fair bit of bullish price action coming in, so we're plus 11s and 10s across the board. It's all a bit strong, but we're not getting anywhere. You see, all that massive buying hasn't, they started buying hard here, 83, where are we, 83.25 area, pushed it up to 85, up to 86, 86, 85, 85. So they pushed all the way up to there with a load of volume, and they haven't made any progress. We're sitting in the middle of the cluster. So we know there's a lot of selling volume there. We can see it coming in as well. Eventually these guys are going to try and push again, and they're going to get stuck. It's going to build a cluster, and then they're going to go, give up. They're going to get out of their longs because they're not making any progress, and then they will become shorts. If enough shorts step in when these guys puke out their orders, we'll get the drop. So we're just waiting for them to give up. So some very big orders came in for this time of day. Look, we're not getting anywhere. You probably see this will suddenly light up red because everybody that's long now is going, hang on a minute, I think we're on the wrong side of this. And they will all start hitting the sell button. I just need enough of them to gather me up, have a pullback, stay there, not get up to my stop, which will be up there somewhere, and then start that leg down. And then I will start to add volume. If we break this cluster here, I'll add some more volume down there. And if we break the lows, I'll add more volume down there. So I'll have 3 contracts short. Looking for a drop somewhere down here, somewhere will be worth 1,500, 2 grand. If. It's all an if. Everything's always an if. See, look, that guy's just stepped in there. 94 contracts long. We just run him over. Look. Stepped in with 94 contracts long. Immediately, 76 contracts jumped in short. He's out. NAS is just rotating at the moment. NAS has already been down to 91.75 today. But yeah, it's just this is Globex. It's just quiet. It's always quiet. But we've had a really big, strong move down, which is why I'm thinking they may want to continue that during the Globex session. And then when New York opens, that's when I think we'll probably get that move. But loads of sellers stepping in. Look. We just need them to get some traction. But we'll see. Don't know. If we don't get any sales coming through, and this area holds, can't see it. It's over there. Hang on. if we've had, whoa. So we've put in a move at the moment. Yeah, so we're bullish. So if this fails to break a new high now, and we just accumulate and drop and break back down below there, that's why that entry's there. If we break down below this level here, I think we are starting that move down. But if this volume cluster here holds, which it is at the moment, as you can see, it's come straight down to there. That's why, a good example there of why I put that order, where I put that order, yeah? So I put the order here because it's a couple of ticks below all of this volume cluster here, this big, loads of volume. Then you can see the volume drops dramatically, half here of what it was in that volume cluster. You see what happened when price came down? It came down into the volume cluster and it stopped exactly where the low of that volume cluster was. We've got some big order sitting here as well, yeah, because people that bought here, think propulsion gap, yeah, accumulation, propulsion gap, yeah, everybody that bought in this accumulation build up a long position. That's why the market moved. They moved it up. When it comes back down into the propulsion gap, these buyers here rebuy and add. Exactly what's happening, but we're seeing where exactly these buyers added to their orders before they pushed the orders up. They just didn't have enough momentum this time to get very high. So they're now trying again. Big buy orders are coming in, building volume. So it's either going to pop, which means we probably are long, but very weak long today, or we're going to get a load of big sell orders step in and they're going to break that. These buyers are going to puke. They've tried again. The buyers are not going to be interested in buying again here because they've tried 3 times, they've failed. They're more likely going to turn into sellers, which means that we'll have more people weighted to the downside and we should get a move back down at least into this cluster, if not breaking it. Because these buyers are trying really hard and they're not getting anywhere. So, you know, it's like, think of it like if you were using a stop, right? And you took a 5-minute reversal alert long. Let's think about the Swiss franc at the moment, yeah? You took a 5-minute reversal alert long, you put your stop there, you got stopped out. Then it pushed back up again, you took a long, you got stopped out. Then it pushed back up again, you took a long, you got stopped out. When are you going to stop going long? When are you going to realise it ain't working? Eventually, you're going to go, oh, I can't go long. I'll tell you what, when we break out, I'm going to go short this time because it's not going long, is it? And then everyone goes, oh, now so many people have tried to go long and given up, they start to go short. There's way more people going short, which means you get a breakout because there's more volume to the downside. More sellers. And then that becomes a breakout and then it pulls back and then it continues down. Yeah, and this is what we're seeing. Loads of buyers not getting anywhere. Bloke puts a big order in, gets stomped on. Eventually, these guys have got to give up. Look how much volume it took to get out of this cluster. Huge volume there. They had to buy a lot to get that little pop. And they haven't made any progress. They've made like, where are we? 77, 87. They made 10 points. We've only 5 points now because we've pulled back. So that's the theory. It's the trap traders scenario. VWAP is just above, yeah. So a lot of people will play a VWAP bounce, not in the Globex session. We don't tend to get much of it in the Globex, but VWAP holds up really well in New York. You get a lot of bounces off of VWAP or the VWAP area, and you tend to get a lot of volume built on VWAP as well. So the cluster will build around VWAP. People like to use VWAP because it's a mean reversion. So the volume weighted average price is the volume weighted average price of the day. Anybody that's doing mean reversion with Bollinger Bands or other things where you mean revert, you expect to mean revert back to the average. That is the average. So you can see, look, There's 224 contracts right now sitting on VWAP. Anybody that's mean reverting now is looking to get out on VWAP. Just makes it all clear. All the theory you've heard about in your life with mean reversion, with trend trading, with accumulation breaks, propulsion gaps, whatever you want to call it, all the theory you see becomes completely sensical when you see what is actually happening under the hood. This is like, we've opened the bonnet, we've taken the engine apart. This is the cogs that make those candlesticks move and why they move. And the reasons behind why we get to a certain point and fall over is because they give up. It's just traders getting long and going, it ain't working, we need to short. That's why the candlesticks, that's why you see the hammers and the shooting stars form. Yeah, we're buying like crazy and we didn't get anywhere. Puke. Get out. It's not working. That's what that candlestick means. But if you get one of those appear on your chart and you don't have thousands and thousands of people buying and it's just normal price action and there's no high volume and you're sitting in a massive volume cluster and you see that forming, that is why hammers and shooting stars fail. Because if you don't know what's going on inside of this, they won't work. If you saw it forming here, right? If you saw a hammer, a shooting star form there, yeah, you probably wouldn't take a short there, because what we're doing is we're rotating the volume cluster, and you would see normal volume being executed in here. A candlestick, depending which time frame you're looking at, and again, this is why time frames are can really skew you. If you saw this forming over a 5 minute or a 15 minute or an hour, all that means is we're in rotation for an hour. It just so happened that when the hour closed, we decided we were at the bottom of a rotation. Does that mean we're going short just because at the hour or the 15-minute candle close time, we happen to be at the bottom of a rotation? That doesn't mean we're going short. It just means that at the moment we're at the bottom of the rotation. Yesterday, we rotated for an hour and a half in about a 7-point range. There were candlesticks, whipsaws, there were dojis, there were all sorts of candlesticks painted in that hour and a half. Price didn't go anywhere because it was just rotating, and we could see it was rotating because we didn't have massive volume clusters. We just had price going up and down. We had a load of sellers stepping in at the highs, which pushed down. We had a load of buyers stepping in at the lows, which pushed up. We didn't have a load of buyers at the highs getting exhausted and giving up, which is what we've got at the moment. So if there was a shooting star now on a time frame, I don't know if there is, but if there was one, that one is probably going to work. So short one. Do you think those trades are bots or human? A lot of this will be algorithmic in the Globex session. New York shut, the algorithms will be running. But there's a lot of humans in there as well. If you go down really low on this, you can see the bots. You can see the bots. Most of the bots most of the quants running are market makers. So they are literally taking a tick out the market, or they're doing what's called spread arbitrage. They don't tend to do it on the ES as much, but they'll be doing things like spread arbitrage, where they'll be looking for gaps in spread that they can take advantage of, and just scalping a tick out the market. So entering with 5 or 10 contracts and just grabbing bits and pieces. Or on treasuries and things like that, they'll be entering with 50, 100 contracts and doing the same thing. But yeah, there's a lot of it is automated. Especially during the Globex session, which is why it's like the Asian session. Globex is basically the Asian session of the stock exchange. So it's just where you've got very light volume, you know, sort of 20s and 50s every 5 or 10 minutes. Well, more long, not even that. Every hour, really. And you get a lot of accumulations and a lot of ranges and a lot of volume clusters. So what a lot of people in Globex will do is exactly what happened there. A lot of the bots will basically sell the volume clusters and buy the volume clusters, which is why, as I say, my entry was there, because the bots will be doing that. Yeah. Until it gets pushed out, and then the bot will lose, and the bot will go, this is no longer viable, wait for the next one. Sees volume build, and then it will start to play the volume cluster until the volume cluster fails. Then it will stop, find the next volume cluster, which is why this is a really good strategy for scalping in Globex, and a lot of people do this. You wait for a cluster to build, and then when you enter that cluster, you buy it, assuming that you can sell it there. And then you watch and you see, did it do what I thought it was going to do? Yes. Okay, well then I'll buy it again. Did it do it again? Yes, then I'll sell it. And you can do that 4 or 5, 6 times before it will break out and go on to the next one. And then it'll build again. And that's what we had here. All this here was building volume on that. And then it'll move somewhere else and it'll build volume. Then it'll move somewhere else. It's just how it works. It's just, and this is why drills are so important when you're trying to learn the DOM and volume profile, because you'll just see it happening over and over again. If you just get in and do what's called a stop and reverse drill, so you get in and get out, and you're always in the market, either long or short, and your job is basically to try and find areas where the market will turn. And after you've done that for like 10 sessions, 10 hours, you'll suddenly see where it's going to turn, and it just gives you a feeling, and you'll suddenly go, every time it does that, that happens. Or every time I see it happen there, it happens over here. Or every time that happens, I see this agree, and you'll suddenly start to put pieces together, and all of these are telling you the same thing, really. Or you'll say, like, every time we get to that one, I see a delta shift. Right, okay. So you'll wait for that to happen, you'll see a delta shift, and then the next time it happens, you'll get in. There's all sorts of things you can do in here, but it's all about discretion and getting in when you think it's the right time to get in, because certain things are telling you what to do. And there's no one thing that works for everybody in this thing. It's just you'll spot stuff, and you'll suddenly get in and you go, So I'm just reducing my risk on this behind this big bit here. So I'm hoping that we're going to push back up into this cluster and hold somewhere here with the sellers. If not, if we slip out the top, we've got a backstop here, which might help. There's a big cluster of orders in there, but which is there. If that fails, we're going to slide through into this. So there's no point in me taking a $400 risk on this. I might as well take a $260 risk on it, because if that fails, that's going to fail. So I'll get out there. Reduce my risk, which obviously increases the reward if we do get the drop. And then I'll get in again as we start to get out of this big bit. In fact, I want to move that down a little, just a little. So I just want to get in on the thinner bit. But the stop that triggers here will be up here, because of what I just said about rotating on clusters. If we get down to here and it gets me in, it could well just come and rotate the cluster for a bit. In which case, I'm happy to take this drawdown, but I don't want to get stopped out here, because there is a high probability they may well come and rotate, especially because we're around the point of control. So I give myself plenty of room in these types of trades in Globex to work it out. But the other option is it rotates around here for a bit and then breaks down, which is what I would hope, and then because we're getting to thin liquidity, it flies through the bottom and we get a big push like that down here, which gives me plenty of room from my entry, and then I can drag my stop down behind the biggest cluster and then obviously see what happens from there. And then obviously if we get there, I'm hoping for a pop. Yeah. But this is playing out perfect. This is a textbook. Buyers, 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 not making it. Buying, 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 couldn't make it. Sellers step in, push price down. And now we've got selling across the board. We've been negative since I entered. We've got loads of sellers coming in. We've got negative delta. And the whole reason for this trade, if you think back to when I first talked about this trade, was this chart here. The reason I'm short bias is because we dropped on 26,000 contracts and pulled back on 5,000. Then we dropped on 54,000, and when I was looking to get in, we were on 19,000 contracts. So strong volume, weak volume, strong volume, weak volume, strong volume. That's what I'm anticipating happening. Whether it's right or not, I don't know, but that's the plan. That's why I've got the bias short rather than long today, because the market's short. If it breaks back above that level, I'm wrong, and I'll get out and I'll be wrong. Then I have to rethink my bias. But another thing to watch as well is obviously this is very important when you're in a trade. You don't want to see too much positive delta, i.e. more buyers than sellers at any particular minute. So there we had 3 minutes of buyers, all undone within 1 minute of sellers. Couple of minutes of buyers, all undone. I don't want to see delta going up. I want to see delta stay sideways or drop, which is the cumulative volume for that minute, or each of these minutes. And I don't want to see us push up on high volume. So we did 6,000 contracts coming down here. If we push up here on anything more than sort of 5,000 or 6,000 contracts, that's bullish. So I don't want to see a big, strong, multi-thousand contract push to the upside. That will invalidate my idea. We're very even as well. It's just we're not bullish or bearish since I've got into the trade. This is monitoring how many contracts at market have been placed since I entered. So it's these two columns here. It's totally flat. I want to see this red all the way down there, really, to show me that I've got sellers on my side. See, it's pushing down a little bit now. I want to see sellers with me. If I'm short, I want to see everybody short. I want to see this coming down. I don't want to see this up there. I want to see this down here. I want to see the whole market telling me the same thing. Yeah, sell clusters. Loads of sellers coming in. Yeah, this thing going red. Just everything agreeing. If everything stops agreeing, get out, because it's probably going to go up. It's not rocket science. This is why I think everybody goes red and green or red and blue. I just want to see red. When I see a load of blue everywhere, I just don't like it. I like this blue. This blue's good. It's the only blue I like. Everything else got to be red at the minute. So we've got some buys down here, look. Yeah, so bigger buy orders starting to come in. So somebody bought there at 78. They sold at 75. Yeah, so we had a big buy order coming in there. They puked there. Remember I was saying yesterday, the average is about 8 ticks a stop. So somebody bought there, it pushed against them, they puked there, they became a seller. So that buyer became a seller, which helps us push the market back down again. We've got loads of people buying down here. They're trying to fade the drop. So as long as we keep ticking down, they will eventually puke, become sellers, which will aid our cause and push us down further. So we're looking for this just to continue. When we see loads of sellers, loads of red, big red blobs, loads of sell orders here, and we stop moving, that's a sign that we're starting to get absorbed and the buyers will likely take over and push up. We are a little bit at the minute. You can see we've pushed up. Russell's holding at the moment. Bit of positive delta. So we're not really going anywhere. So a few big orders starting to come in. So what I want to see when these big sellers step in, I want to see the market actually react. I want to see them actually tick us down a bit. At the moment we've got some big buy side divergence, so there's a lot more buyers at this level than there were sellers. So this guy that got in here, buyers absorbed his lot, his whole order, so he'll probably get out here and become a buyer. So I don't want to see big sell orders coming in and price pushing up. I want to see big sell orders coming in and us holding or ticking down. Negative delta. I want to see this continue to be on my side. Okay, so we've got some buyers stepped in there. So if this pushes down here, they will get run over. But at the moment we've got a big battle. It's just a big battle going on, waiting for this next one to come. So all we're doing, if you look at it, is we're rotating. So if it slips through, that's my last stand, last defense. If that defense breaks, I'm not going to make it. But there's an argument for actually getting out here at the moment. Unless we get some progress beyond point of control, a break-even stop is probably the sensible, in fact that's what I'm going to do, is the sensible thing to do, because if this rotation we've just put in there is won by the buyers, we're going to sit up here for a while and all I'm going to do is sit in drawdown for a bit, which is no point. So I might as well just get out and say we didn't win that one. So there's a lot of buying going on down here. They're trying really hard to defend this zone. This is, look, where we bought. Yeah, so this is the buyers stepping in again, going, we want to go higher. Yeah, we want to add to our orders and push this right back up. So this is the battleground at the moment. If we get back down below, I would say 73.25, 73, we will probably get a flush. Because these guys will give up, and they will also, any of the long-term speculators down here will probably exit those orders as well, and you'll get a flush which will drop us down towards the low of the cluster, and then we'll start probably another battle. But at the moment They're stepping in, holding level. Could just take that. Volume seems to have dried up a bit. Yeah, we're still. Yeah, it's not massive, but it's. I'm not really interested in large volume. Isn't as important as the direction of the volume. Yeah, and what happens after the volume is put in. So even light volume will drive the market because we've got low liquidity at the moment. It doesn't take a lot of volume to get through it. Someone dumps 30 to 50 orders in the market short right now, they're going to eat three levels up potentially. So it only takes one big order to move us 3 or 4 ticks. It's about getting beyond that level where everybody is sitting. Everybody long now that's long here is either now out or they're panicking. And because they're uncomfortable down here, they'll be thinking, right, where are we getting out? We've got this big volume cluster here. If that doesn't hold, we're likely to slip down. So they're probably all going to get out here. And that's what I say, that 73 area is probably where we'll get a flush because people will see this level fail. We've just tested that level as well. And everybody that's long here is just going to go, oh, well, we're wrong. And they're going to get out. And everybody that's long here is going to be going, yeah, we're not right. We've got too much sell pressure. See, now we've got a load of bulls come in, stopped out. So they won. So somebody's just stepped in, look, with tons and tons and tons and tons of orders, popped us back up again. So break even on that. So the buyers are winning. So everybody there stepped in, added to the orders, and now we've popped. So be looking for drops and pops, I think. So momentum traders, if you want to take momentum trades now, good play for momentum trading now would be to go long. So just wait for it to settle. Look for low volume areas basically. So a load of sellers coming in up here, trying to defend this area we pushed down from. So selling off. So try a quick momentum buy. So probably rotate on this. So I'm looking for a push back up into sort of the 83s, back up to here. Don't take too much loss on this. See a delta coming there, look. Huge orders. But did you see the way that was split? Yeah, 10 contracts, 13, 10, 13, 12, 11, tiny contracts. So this is probably, I don't know, volume wise, 73, 8, so 700 contracts roughly dumped in one go. So that's a big player, obviously, but you couldn't see him in the market. His hand was hidden. Pushed the market up hard, not anywhere near as much exiting, so he's still long in the market. So looking for a break of that high, probably up here. See if we can get one more on up there, and then see if we can get a pop. Bit risky taking another one here, but we've got a high here at 86.50. So if we can pop this high, we'll probably push up to 86.50. Just reducing risk on it. Where do we rotate down to? 78.50. Okay, 3 long. Scale out of 1. So we've just broken new highs by 1 tick. Still loads of buyers coming in, still positive. Holding this level here. So if we break that, I'll probably look for, where are we? 86. Probably go for 5 points. So 90, 91 area. There's no volume. Some volume there. I'm going to sit just underneath. Oh, hang on. Sit just underneath that guy there. So we've got a large volume cluster here, or node, which is at 39. So see if we can pop out the highs. We're pulling back on the Dow, pulling back on the Nasdaq. Got a lot of sellers starting to step in, just pulling us back at the minute. So what I want them to do is to rotate either somewhere around there or there for a bit, build up a position, and then have another run at that high, which should get us up good 8 to 10 ticks, and then we'll see what happens when we start pushing into this volume up here. But this volume up here is tiny compared to that 700 contracts that just made that move happen. We're sitting there on 70s and 60s. It's unlikely to get in the way, so it's likely to push. But this is the Globex session, which is obviously very range bound. So this could well also be high of range that we're establishing here. In which case I will get stopped out on this position. We will go into a further rotation. But it depends whether we get some decent buying continuing at this level. And these will give us a clue. And as long as we get delta, get more positive delta than negative delta, we keep moving up. It's just a good sign that we've got the buyers on side with us, and we should just hopefully get a pop out the highs. But this level here, obviously, as you can see, 8650 is where we are struggling and being defended at the minute. So we're just building up strength. Probably a news event. Oil just spiked like crazy, did it? Russian forces have withdrawn from Snake Island. Nothing particularly interesting that I can see there, but big orders stepping in, but at the moment we're just pulling back on light selling volume. Still don't get how the active positions show up. Are you still short where it says 3S? No, that's my stop. That's a stop order. So 3S is 3 stop orders, 1L is 1 limit order. So I've got a limit order up there, which is my TP of 1 contract. I'm 2 contracts long. Yeah, plus 2, that's my entry, that's my average. And plus 2 long. Basically, if it's blue above and red below, I'm long. Blue is profit, red is loss. And those are my stops. That's my stop, which I need to adjust because I'm actually 2 contracts long, not 3. Don't want to get short there. Maybe I do, but I'm looking. So I'm a little bit. This area here really, I don't want to see us drop much lower than 79.50. If we break 79.50. Which we have, I'm going to get stopped out by the looks of things. So I'm out flat. Big deep pullback. So this is possibly going into a range. So that's the danger with momentum plays. And this is what happens to us in when you're using candlesticks. Yeah. So this is a whipsaw. This is a whipsaw. So we've pushed up really hard on momentum. So that was a momentum trade. So I'm looking to get in with the momentum, assuming that the momentum will continue. If the momentum doesn't continue, you get whipsawed out of your trade, which turns into, as I said, a range. That's the danger with momentum plays. So minus 187 on that. So again, we tried to buy up here and the buyers basically just got rolled over and flushed out. So everybody that was long like me, and you see that's why this moves so fast. So this is what I say, when you do the drills, you get an understanding for why that moves so quick. That move from here to there was so fast because everybody was doing the same thing as me on a momentum play. Was you're getting into momentum, you're expecting momentum to hold, you'll have a line in the sand as I did, where if it breaks below this cluster, which is where we would expect to build a position to hold, you get out your position. That's why that flushed so quick, because we were all sitting here at the same place. We don't want to take more loss than that, because if that volume cluster fails, we're not going to stay in the trade, because there's every chance it will flush down. We're getting some buyers stepping in down here now. So looking at if this had pushed up higher than this, I would say this is what we call a head fake, where you move up, you pull back, and then you continue your push. The fact that we double topped means we're potentially just forming a range and a large rotation, which means that we want to be buying down here. So that trade that I took yesterday, if you remember, that I put in the Telegram group, I nailed the entry, or someone said I nailed the entry. I didn't nail the entry, I just bought them up on the range. Yeah, so if I buy here now, let's put a buy order up there. I'm looking for us to hold this level. See, stop immediately goes in below this low. So I'm looking for us now to rotate this area above the point of control. So that's where I want to be out. But what I would hope for is we find some momentum towards these highs, that we can slip through this low light to liquidity, and I'll get out somewhere up there. So risk is 400, reward would be 6 to 8. But I will add as well on the way up. So an entry there. If we break above this high, couple of ticks, I'll add in. The danger here is obviously you're buying into VWAP as well. So that actually might have been a VWAP sell. So a lot of people may have been sort of selling VWAP as well there. You don't know. This is the thing. You don't know. The reason for these trades is unknown. We don't know how many of these guys are speculative, scalping market makers trying to get a couple of ticks. We don't know how many of them are getting in positions for customers trying to hold. I'd imagine, and I would assume, that 700 contract dump was not somebody speculating. I would imagine that is somebody getting in on behalf of a client and buying to hold. So long-term order. Long-term orders to us don't really mean anything, because we are in and out in minutes and seconds. So whether this guy is holding long or trying to get out in 2 minutes, I couldn't care less. What I do care about is that there's a large amount of volume going long, which is bullish. But I can see shorts coming in. So this is when you're scalping in any market, whether it be in Forex with candlesticks or whether it be in futures with a DOM, you're short term, so you have to switch your bias. So I was short when we started this session. I'm long now, mainly because I'm seeing the vast majority of what's going on today being bullish. You can't ignore that. We've just pushed up on 7.8 thousand contracts, and we pulled back down on 6.2. So that push up is bigger than the last pull down. So therefore, as long as this remains below 5,000 or 6,000 contracts, there's a high probability of a leg up. Pushed up on 28,000, we pulled back down on 16. But days like this could well just be those horrible range days that you just get chopped, which is kind of what happened to me yesterday morning. I got chopped around and then pulled it all back in the afternoon. But, you know, if you can always reduce your risk as well. You know, I can see bulls starting to trickle in a little bit, so you can always just pull your risk up. And just take smaller risk. Obviously, it's a high probability much higher probability of getting stopped out. In fact, that's not a good place to put a stop. But we seem to be holding on buy volume at the moment. So if this is, as I say, if that was higher, I would class that as a head fake, in which case I would expect that sort of move. But you shouldn't break this low if the market is going to remain bullish. So that is the safe stop. This is the risky stop because I'm seeing buying volume coming in on an accumulation. So you just have to pick your areas. So, you know, there's high volume here, so I'll go below the high volume. If I see a big order in the market, I'll sit 3 or 4 ticks underneath him. It's just using your head. And this is why you can't teach people a system, I don't think, with this, which is why most of the courses you find on futures trading will all be talking about how the market works, because you can't say get in here with X stop. Your stop has got to be illogical area. The most logical area right now for a stop is somewhere around here, because the point of control is where the largest volumes come in, which is where the market stops. Right under there is the safest place. Under there is probably the next safest place. This, where I am at the moment, is not as safe as those two, but safer than sitting above this large volume cluster. This is where the discretionary bits comes in. Everybody's going to be in different places. A lot of buyers coming in at the minute. You know, it's totally discretionary. And when you take that profit off, I was sitting in $450 up there. I held it because I was going for the home run. Hindsight, should have taken $450 off. That would have got rid of a couple of trades lost this morning. Again, that is the difference between making money this session and losing money this session. But I don't know we're in a range until the market shows me that we're in a range. At the moment, I'm assuming the amount of buying coming in here, we are in a gradual grind, and the fact that this guy's just dumped a load of orders, I would suspect he probably will add some. This is where he started adding. Yeah, this is where he's adding again, I hope. I don't know. You know, it's totally discretionary. Other people will read this in completely the other way and say, we're double topping at the moment, and this was a profit take on a large sell order. Could be. I don't know. This is the thing. They haven't got labels on these dots. You don't know what they are. They're volume. That's all it is. It's volume. But you get clues. They're just clues. They're footprints in the sand left by the big guys. You just got to work out what you think they're going to be and hope you're right more than you're wrong. Again, discretionary. There's no, if this alert does this when this condition is that, do this. It's not mechanical. It's getting tricky now. I'll wait for a break below the current range, or at least wait for the New York. Yeah, so that's a perfect play Jesse's just said there. So the other play here is here. So I increase this to 2 contracts, which means what's going to happen now is we're either going to get up there and I'm going to get out, or we're going to get down to there, I'm going to exit the position with a loss and flick short on the break. Yeah. So there was my stop there. 75.75 was my initial stop. So buyers couldn't hold that, but the buyers were obviously all buying here as well. So we're running into clusters of orders. And obviously we've got the point of control on our side now. So I could have either taken a $212 loss. Well, I haven't yet, because I wouldn't have been stopped out yet, because it didn't get me. Look, it did exactly what I was expecting it to do, which was find a little support here and now rotate back up. But it did that time. After a couple of attempts, it's like knocking on the door. Think of it like support. Any support, a couple of knocks on the door. Eventually, if you keep knocking on the door, you're going to break it down. And it's whether or not we get the volume coming to knock on the door over and over again or not. But yeah, so next play would be a breakdown. Which would be of that level. Or you just basically, and this is what happened to me yesterday, I lost a couple of grand in the morning and I basically went, had enough, I can't do it today, the market's just not on my side, and you just stop and you come back Go and do something else. This is the big trade. This is what I've got on the other account. I've got orders set up to take advantage of this break to the downside. So that's what I'm really looking for today. But at the moment the market's telling me that's not going to happen because we're buying. Anyway, I was going to leave you, wasn't I, about an hour ago? Got sucked into futures. Anyway, live futures is good to watch. Especially this morning because I'm not having a good morning. What am I? 11.25 down this morning across both accounts. Okay. This is this is a good day for averaging, which is what a lot of people do, which is very dangerous, but it works very well a lot of the time. So you just average into positions the same way as position trading. So I'm long here, I'll take another long here, which means my average is now there, and I'll just wait for it to pop up and grab 100 or something, and then get out and then repeat, and you're basically playing the rotations. And what you'll do, let's say we started here, so we will go long there, assuming we can rotate out up here. If that fails, we'll look for the next big rotation, which is probably there. We'll buy there and we'll expect to get out here. If that doesn't work, we'll wait for it to come down and then we'll wait for the next rotation. And all the time what you're doing is adding one here, adding one here, adding one here. And of course what it's doing is bringing your average down every time. So you're just waiting for that next little pop to get out of your position. Where this fails, which is what I see a lot of people doing, is they never get out. So you have to set yourself a grand, $1,500, $2 grand, $3 grand, whatever your limit is. If you get down to that limit, get out the lot, take it on the chin. But you'll find you'll have a lot of people, and I've done this in the past as well, you'll have a lot more positive days than negative days doing it. But if the market wants to go into a fast, hard trend, you'll be run over very, very quick. So taking a couple of trades, I don't think there's a problem adding to losers and averaging into futures. So down here, whoop, just moved as I did it. So down here, if we're going to defend this area here, let's put it there. So add one in there. The stop on this, I've got to stop there. So if it triggers this order and pops off the bottom, my average is going to be there. So I only need a little tick up to get out of this trade without taking a loss. But if it goes down 2 ticks, I'm going to lose, a whopping $37.50 on this second position. But it's worth it because if it gathers me up and pushes up to here, so my average on this order will be there. You see, if that had gathered me there, I'm only 2 ticks away from a break-even entry now. But it's really good in Globex to do it. But you need to make sure, like anything, like spacing, we space a quarter to a half an ADR minimum when we're position trading. You need to be looking at sort of 30 ticks, 20 to 30 ticks between entries. Otherwise, if you're getting like there, you get in there and you get in there, and it goes like that, this is $1,500 drawdown plus, and then you get in again there, your average is up here somewhere and you're in trouble. Dangerous. There's a guy on YouTube called, I think his name's Mr. Yen. I don't know what his real name is, but he calls himself Mr. Yen, and that's all he does. He averages in with micro contracts, and I've seen him get run over a couple of times. and wipe out a week's profit in one session, because you won't take a loss. Like the same as drawdown control, what we do in position trading, you've got to have some kind of drawdown control or line in the sand. If you don't have a line in the sand, it's just an account buster, basically, isn't it? Because this market, if it wants to go down, and it wants to go down hard, as we've seen, it will just do that. Okay, so what's happened here? We've got some large contracts stepped in, backed up by some more buyers, back down in this area. So if I zoom out a little bit, let's wait for that to redraw. It does this sometimes, it just it's like it has a funny 5 minutes. There we go. Whoa. Okay. I can't see it. Need to go out further. One sec. So the buying came in, we pushed up, we came back, we defended that area, we pushed up on high volume, we come back. This is the defense of this area again. So if we're going to go range bound, this defense will hold. Therefore, I'm sitting underneath, as will a lot of other people. So we're a big target at the minute for the sellers. If we're going to break down, we're getting very close to low of session, in which case obviously we could get that breakdown that I was looking for. So I've got gathered up into that position. So you can see now my average is dropped back down to 77. Yeah, my stop is below this low by a couple of ticks. So if this now goes from here, I've got a really quick easy out, and it's cost me $37.50 to see if I can get that without a $300 loss. So very quick easy way of reducing your loss. Now again, the discretionary part comes if this works. I now have either a break-even exit and go, well, that trade didn't work, or I am now a range trader and I've got the possibility of making $900 out of that potential $300 loss. That's where the discretion comes in. And that will be the difference between making a profit or making a loss today, because I'm 1,000, closed 987 down. High of session is 987.50. So if this now goes range bound, I've got a complete break even on the session available to me, or I can get out there and sit back and go, well, that didn't work. Getting tidy down to you. Obviously this has got to work yet, but looks like the sellers are coming in, so it's going to stop out. So this is where potentially is a good place to go short, assuming that we're going to make a run on the lows. In fact, I might do that. There you go. So I've stopped out on that one, 387. Flip short. And look to add in as we approach the lows and add in on a break of the lows. Yeah. See that massive load of buy orders came in there, yeah? So, as I said, everybody that was short, everybody, so yeah, everybody's basically exited their orders down there. So basically now we're off to the downside. So next stop is going to be down here. Low of session. So we're going to get a run on session lows now. See if we can get a push. Good volume coming in along the way. Still deep. Nice delta negative. Want to see us break this 8,000 level on the delta as well, ideally. I'm short on 2 accounts now. Short on both of my accounts because I had that pending order on the other account short. I've got no stops in the market. So my stop positioning here is above this volume cluster. So where we got the volume sort of increased sort of there. Yeah, so that's lower volume, that's lower volume, sort of up to there. Yeah, so this cluster of volume here, if we break back above there, we're probably just going to go into a horrible whipsaw range thing. If I get out of this position as a stop, I'm done because the session's blown basically. But so that's why I'm positioned up there. So this is kind of an intraday swing I'm trying to play here. I'm trying to get this breakout swing low and then use that momentum to hopefully get on a drop today. But if you were scalping, you'd be out now. So if you scalped that short position, you know, you're out with $300. You would have had 387.50 was max run up on it. So if you just want to take the breaks of highs and lows like that, where you got these volume pops, that's a good scalping technique. That's what I do a lot of the time, most of the time. Scalping out of these volume clusters, but at the moment we haven't got a big, we're just sitting in one big one. What I like to see throughout the session, this happens a lot more in New York, is these little clusters like this. When you get to these and you build on volume, breaks of these you tend to run, and that's what I like to scalp. I like to go long out the top of these and scalp sort of 16 points, which is why I have this 16 and 16 setup, which is really good to do. Just grab a quick 16 run out the top of these, but at the moment we haven't got any today because it's just one massive volume cluster. Okay, lower session is coming up. Still got volume on our side, still got delta on our side, still got other markets dropping. We're pushing down on 14,000 contracts. So see if we get that pop. There's a lot of volume sitting down here as well. Can't see that, my pen's too thin. So we've got some big orders sitting down here. Sellers have got to run that lot over. Big orders, low of the day. White one means new large order at low of day. So we need to see this flush. Not get stuck. It's not flashing. There we go, there's a pop. It's one level gone. Lots of sell volume coming in, but we're not making any progress. So I'm getting out there, 737. We're selling hard into that, really hard. And you saw we sold massively hard there. We made 4 ticks. No progress. Massive delta. Can't get through. So there's a lot of buying pressure down here. It may well pop from there, but we were really struggling there. So it's better to take that $700 and walk away. I can always get back in. So what I'm looking for now is a pullback into somewhere in this cluster. Obviously there, if we were to get back to these lows where this guy is sitting, see the guy, you can kind of be guided by the market, and that's why I like this Jigsaw software. What I was about to explain to you was a really logical play would be to try and get in just under these lows. Look at the white line. Yeah, someone else has got exactly, or a lot of people, because it's a big thick white line, have got exactly the same plan as I've got now, because that's what you see happening all the time. We come back to resistance, we drop. Yeah, so that would be a lovely area for a short. So, you know, you just get on board with the guys. I'm just going to go 1 tick ahead of him so I get filled faster. Pending sell limit there, if we get there. Some people thinking about getting in here as well. So now everybody is looking for this to be a new start for a low push. So we're looking for a pullback now on low volume. So want a load of buyers to come in, but not as many buyers as sellers. So we dropped on 16,000 contracts. I'm looking for us to push back a little bit on way less than 16,000 contracts, and then next sign of weakness, jump in on board for the next leg down, and then we'll be looking to come back down. And now we're looking for head fakes. So we're looking for break down below that level. Yeah, pull back. Break down below that level, pull back. Break down below that level. Market structure. Equally, what you can get is we will sit here now and we'll build a rotation. If that rotation becomes very, very large, we're probably not going to win. And we'll probably find that we get a strong push back up to the upside. So right now, your next trade, short, is under there. So if we're going to get the next leg down, you've got 2 options. We're either going to pull back deep, we're going to pull back shallow, or we're just going to go and we're going to run over everybody that is buying here. And they're all buying. So basically, think mean reversion, right? On a chart, what's everybody seeing right now? Yeah, they're seeing Bollinger Bands. Yeah, everybody knows Bollinger Bands. Everybody's tried to mean revert Bollinger Bands. They're seeing Bollinger Bands now. So everybody's going, hey, we're outside the Bollinger Bands, let's fade it. Yeah, and it'll get to there and then we'll run them over. Because they're fighting the trend. And this is what everybody, there's a term, the guy that runs Jigsaw software, there's a term he uses called perma-faders. And that's what a lot of people are. Everybody says, why is it every time I hit the buy button, it goes short? Because you're perma-fading the market against the trend. Of course it's going to go short. It's a short. Yes, it could well pull back, but more likely it's going to go that way, isn't it? If you think about, there's another good part in Jigsaw's course, which is an analogy using a multi-story car park. If you smash through the floor of the multi-story car park and drop down to this level, yeah, which is the way, the easiest way to go now? Is it to try and climb up through that hole in the ceiling, or is it just to smash back down through that level? Boom, boom. Gravity's on your side, isn't it? Yeah. Loads of sellers stepping in, making session lows, which is why I'm gathered into my position. I want to see this continue. Nasdaq lows, Dow lows, Russell lows. So each of these is also going to help us now as we get these breaks. potentially. Okay, so buyers stepping in now. Way more buyers on the inside offer and ask than we have sellers. So we're trying to buy up. All these sellers have just been absorbed down here, and we're ticking up. So we're running out of strength for the downside at the minute. Out. Oh yeah, sorry, Jesse, I didn't realise you were commenting there. Got in short 2 and out, unfortunately. Got in at a lower size after my previous loss. Grabbed $100 back, yeah. Keep your contract size the same all the time. One contract. When you're starting out, one contract. Even me, I just do one contract most of the time. But I add into positions. Don't get in with 3s and 5s. Because if you get in with 3s and 5s, you've got to stick with 3s and 5s. And if you're doing a prop firm, you've only got 2 to 3k of drawdown to play with. 3 to 5k gets eaten very, very fast. So I'm adding into this on another break, expecting or hoping for a new flush. If I get a new flush down to sort of $200, I'll take that $200 off and start scalping these breaks, basically. This might well pull back, but yeah, like the idea of having 3 indices ladders side by side. Yeah, it just when I don't look at these at all, and I don't really look at delta at all until I get into a trade. So I'm always looking at the volume profile. I'm looking for where we are likely to break. I'm looking for areas where we've had high volume, which are likely to hold. We've got a lot of volume coming in here at the moment. A lot of selling volume has come in. We've got a lot of buying volume coming in, but we're not making any. We're not ticking up, are we? Yeah, we've got a lot of buying coming in, but we're not ticking up, which means the sellers are stomping on their heads at the moment. We're eventually going to run out of one of those. We're going to run out of buyers, or we're going to run out of sellers, which means we're either going to pop or we're going to pop. So we don't know which. It depends who runs out first. There's a hell of a lot more people sitting on the inside at the moment. Well, now we're sitting short, but the next flurry that comes through is probably going to make a decent move one way or the other. But I don't look at any of this until I'm in a trade. When I'm in a trade, if I see this all going up, I see a lot of movement there. I see a lot of buyers coming in, and I see delta getting larger. I start to worry and think, right, do I want to be out of this trade? If I want to be out of this trade, what that makes me then do is go, right, that massive stop I've got, do I want that massive stop? If I'm wrong on this, when do I think I want to get out? Well, at the moment, we've got a fairly big cluster there, one there. This isn't a really easy one to pick, to be honest. But I would probably say somewhere around 68.50. If we get to there, I'm probably not going to want to stay in this. I certainly don't want to take a $400 loss. So when I see now we've got negative delta coming in, we've got this pushing down, this pushing down, this pushing down, I'm more comfortable. So I'll stay where I am. But 260 probably, 275. I would say 68.50. With these little clusters you get, when we get into them, we expect them to hopefully hold as support. It will tick through them every now and again. So I usually like to go just a couple of ticks above where we've got some volume. So that's what I use these for. I don't really look at them in any other shape or form until I'm in a trade. Every now and again, though, what you'll see is you'll see out the corner of your eye this move down fast, this move down fast, this move down fast, this not move anywhere, and you'll go, market's flushing, why are we not moving? Short. So you're getting a short because these have moved. It doesn't happen often, but every now and again you'll see these all flush really fast for some reason and you don't go anywhere. And the same thing with people that are trading NASDAQ. They'll be watching this over here and they'll see the ES flash fast and they'll suddenly go, NASDAQ hasn't moved. They'll short the NASDAQ. So this could go first, or this, or this, or this. We don't know. But if you see a couple of these go at once, high probability the rest are going to go at the same, just very, very quickly afterwards. So you've got to be pretty quick off the mark. So, you know, if you see this flush, this flush, this flush, you just go like that and hit sell. I can't because I've got too many orders in the market, it won't let me. But yeah, you just quickly bang and you'll get gathered on the way, or you just hit a market order and go short. Some big sellers coming in, but we're not moving anywhere at the minute. We're just building. So we're building a rotation. So this is the algos now. Yeah, selling the short, buying the long, selling the short, buying the long, rotating through this cluster, building volume. Yeah. So a lot of people now will be sitting there shorting with one contract, taking 4 ticks. That's why I've got this little 4 tick target set up here. So can do this. So short there. See if we get gathered in. Short there with a 4 tick target. So I'm literally looking to take advantage of this accumulation that they're building here. I'm a little bit late on it. What you should have done is kind of seen that and then longed it there, shorted it there, long it there, maybe short it here. 7, 8, 10 times max. It will break at some point. You can't stay in it forever. But after you see it happen 3 or 4 times, you can try and get in on it. I don't like to see it more than 5 or 6. I don't actually like this type of trade. I find it too it fails too much for my liking, but that's probably because I get in too late, because I wait too long for it to be established. But you know, there's somebody's doing it. 81 contracts short there, 69 contracts short there. Push down, pull up, push down. If you're entering with 100 contracts, yeah, you've got the power to move this a couple of ticks. So if you go 100 contracts short here, you'll probably get a tick or two. You could scalp out of quick. Obviously, the other trouble with this type of trading is commissions. You get into this and you get out down here. You do this 10 times. You've just done $35 in commission. So you got to be pretty high strike rate with it. Otherwise, you end up just giving it all back in commissions. I do $100 to $150 a day in commissions. If I was doing that type of trading over and over again, I'd be doing sort of way more than that, and obviously you end up eating into your profits. So at the moment, got delta on side, got market orders on side. We're certainly not pushing up, which is good. We're pushing down there, which is good, but we're not making any movement. Pretty even buyers and sellers. Now we've got some volume coming. Second position on, looking for a flush. If we don't get that flush, I'll probably want to get out fairly fast. So we got 33 contracts winning at lower day, followed by another 30. We didn't manage to push down, so just entered that target short. This isn't good. I'm just going to see if they'll hold the range high here. If not, it's a bit slow there to get out. That needed to be a flush. I'm just going to reduce my risk down. Hopefully. I'm still doing that on MT4 because it's just demo and top step. Yeah, so just, yeah, this is all playing out on MT4 in candlestick form. So, and that's what I've been doing with my Forex funds account, is using this to make decisions and executing on MT4, which is nothing wrong with doing that. It's just at the moment I'm just trying to trade the futures at the same time. I haven't traded my Forex funds. I didn't trade yesterday at all. So we're getting some buyers coming in now, which are pushing through. So probably going to take another loss on this. They go out flat. So buyers stepping in. So the trade now is to pull back trade. So we didn't get that second break. I should have got out faster on that. I was way too slow talking. So looking for some kind of pullback now into some volume up here, and then look for some signs of sellers stepping in, and then get a second run down at that low. So very similar trade to the first one, which I made the $700 odd on. I'll be looking to build a position to go short on. Oops. So DAX is getting brought up. Okay, we've got delta divergence formed here. So we've got the market pushing up on negative volume. I think we might get the break here. We've got the market pushing up on negative volume, so negative delta. So there's way more sellers in the market than there are buyers at the moment, but we are still managing to get way more volume of sellers, but we are pushing up. So we've got something brewing basically. It's either going to pop to the upside, in which case then we've got our short opportunities up in this area, or we're going to get that breakout down. Volume's low, 1.4 as opposed to 2.3 down. So if the break happens very soon, within the next sort of 1,000 contracts, we've got a good chance of a second flush down. But we could well just continue to sort of grind, in which case then obviously we're going to be starting to look for somewhere to get in short. Really hard to get in short up here. Because you haven't got any like nice volume nodes. This is perfect. This volume cluster. This is kind of a great volume cluster. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. The problem with the ES at the moment is it's just kind of like that. It's very hard to pick a level. That one there maybe. So somewhere around there for an entry. Failing that, I'd be looking, as I said, up there somewhere. If it breaks, it's big seller stepping in. Scalp, large scalp. See there, one tick scalp. 63.25, 63. So they sold at 63.25. They got out at 63. One tick scalp with 30 contracts. That's $500. That's a market maker trade. So that's an arbitrage type thing. So they're seeing a possibility of getting to the front of the queue easily with enough contract size to be able to kick it. That's all you need to make $500. But to execute that trade, you'd need $20,000 in your account. Depending on your broker, obviously. Okay, good sell volume. What's the time? 10:30. So we're getting to point of the day where we very much start to slow down a lot of the time. 10:30 to 12, it all tends to get a little bit slow. Some volume starting to kick in, sell volume. Looking for a break, and again, I'm looking for a break and I'm looking for a pop. If we don't get that pop, I kind of want to be out. I want to see it flush. So I'm looking for the same move as we got here. It's a flush down. Not that far, but I'm looking for a, sort of flush down to sort of 57 maybe. Still got negative delta. Okay, so we pushed up on 1.4, we've pushed back down on 2.4, so there's definitely more selling volume on our side. We just haven't got the sellers at the minute in volume. We need more. We need more to join the gang. So the rotation that I was speaking about here, that I was trying to play, has happened. They just did a big stop run on us. Nobody scalping that small is going to have a stop any more than 2 to 3 ticks, 4 ticks maybe. So they ran everybody playing that rotation. And obviously everybody's going to be mainly biased short on it because they would like to also get a run. So that's a stop run. We've also got Dow very close and the Russell very close to session low. Nasdaq's not far away either. So when we get some volume coming in, these will all help sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy all at the same time. We'll get loads of selling across all markets, all stocks, all sectors, and that's why you get that big sort of pop. But at the moment we're just building. It's pushing up into the higher range at the minute. So good opportunity now if you wanted sort of a sell here with maybe a 3-tick stop. You got what, six ticks or so to the lower of the range. So tiny little risk. Looking to get out down here. Let's go for 100. Yeah, so that's the range, whatever you want to call it, cluster rotation trade. That's what these people are all doing. Just taking quick one, quick scalp. Go for as much as you want. You can go 4 ticks if you want. Just grab $50. $50. $37 loss, $50 target. Yeah, 1.25 to 1 risk reward. If you can keep that at 50% strike rate, job done. Get in with 10 contracts if you want. So, you know, just looking to make small amounts often out of these rotations. This one's lasting a way longer than normal. This is a long one. Doesn't normally last this long, but you tend to find these as well. Again, you'll see this after watching it happen over and over again. I should have taken that 8750, shouldn't I? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take 1250. This might be the break, you know. We're starting to tick. We're ticking down across the board, so I'm getting greedy. I shouldn't get greedy. It's not that type of trade. I'll just take it off. $75. So yeah, so if you can get a 50% strike rate on those, brilliant. But you'll see after a while, when you get these big flushes, you get one of two things happening. And think of this like an ADR hit, for example. You get an ADR hit, it either accumulates and carries on, or you get an ADR hit, it accumulates and goes nowhere, or you get an ADR hit and it bounces. So what we didn't see when we got here was the bounce. So the other options are an accumulation or an accumulation drop. This is going into an accumulation. So after these big flushes, you tend to get some kind of accumulation. That's what I say. You don't want to play these. When you see them go up once, twice, 3 times, then you're thinking, right, okay, I'll try one here with a stop. Made it. Bounce. I'll try another one. Bounce. I'll try another one. Bounce. I'm done. I've done it. That's $150. Or that's 500, 300, whatever it is you've hit. I've got 3, 100% strike rate, done. That's when you should give up on them. The problem is, and this is why I don't trade them very often, is you just go, this works every time, and then it doesn't. And then you're like, I lost. And normally you only get 2 or 3 out of it. It's unusual to get that many. And it's a lot of hard work waiting for this to happen. And then just grabbing 4 pips. I just find it very hard work. And frustrating as hell when you get a choppy day. Because you get that push and then it will go like that. And it will give you, oh right, I'm getting in one. Then it will pop. And you'll be like, ugh. It's 10:45. We're not going anywhere at the minute. So options are to carry on playing this. Now it looks like we're going. So you also have the option to counter trend this. We're assuming we're going to get a pullback somewhere. So you've got a counter trend breakout opportunity here. Just be wary of what happened last time. The safer play though is trying to get in short up there. I'd be too uncomfortable doing CT. What's that? Oh, counter trend, yeah. Yeah, always stay with the trend. This is why I have the 5 minute. I mean, today it's not very particularly useful. It's not. But, you know, you don't want to fight, especially a drop on that size during Globex, 70,000 contracts short at the start of the London session is a lot. Again, I don't really use this chart at all. This chart is there for me to go, when I open the platform up, right, what's going on? Since Globex started, where are we? What's going on? That's it. Okay, we're down. Okay, I'm looking for shorts. Until the market says otherwise. So if we suddenly push up in Globex and we start getting loads of bullish signs, then I change bias. But you need something to give you an idea where you're going. And obviously look at the daily, which I do every morning anyway. So I was just reading the Telegram group. Okay, so we've pushed out above that cluster. We're getting way more selling pressure than buying pressure, but we're not making obviously any progress to the downside at the moment. So I'm just going to leave those orders on and do other stuff, I think. And I'm going to wait for that. I'll obviously hear when we get a breakdown. If we get back up into the 73s, I'll start paying attention for a short opportunity up there as well. In fact, I might just stick an initial entry up there with a fairly decent stop on it, just to make sure I don't miss it. But I'll have a look when we get up there and see, assuming we do get up there, obviously. But yeah, there's every chance that we could well just go into a very nasty well, not nasty, but a very wide, slow rotation. And wait until New York. That is sort of 3.5 hours away. We've got news obviously before then. We've got the CAD news, and we've got some US news, which will shake the market up at that point at 1:30. So we may well just be sitting now waiting for the 1:30 news. But if we do get a big flurry of orders come through, which obviously manages to dump or pump, I'm going to make sure I get in on a break of the lows, but I want to see volume with me. Try and get another run out of it. There's a lot of volume sitting down there as well. And if we grind up to here, this is a flag. Yeah, so be looking for that flag break. But it's very slow at the moment. I'm not going to muck about trying to scalp 4 ticks out of this thing. It's just a pain in the backside. So at the moment, 900 down on the session. Again, didn't do very well yesterday in the Globex session. I've had really good Globex sessions, which I've made 2-3k out of. Yesterday I lost just over 2, and although I made it all back in the afternoon, but yeah, 900 down today. But choppy today after that initial flurry, which we missed. Yeah, it's just been a bit erratic. Managed to get some back though, so I'll make it back this afternoon, hopefully. But very grindy action at the minute. So that's my plan. This afternoon, I will have a look at where we are from a daily perspective. Obviously, we've had a big down push, so they might well pull it back a bit. But yeah, I'm short bias, so I think I will be looking for shorts this afternoon. But I'm going to wait at the market open. Depending on where we are, if we're still down here, I will leave those sell orders in place that I've got, and assume that we're going to put a big day in to the downside. So we're starting this cascade potentially. Yeah. So looking for that to happen. So I'm going to keep those sell orders in place and see if I can get a flush out the lows. If we've pulled back sort of halfway into this candle, then I will probably start to establish a short position as well. But depending where we are, I'll either wait for the market to open and give it 10 or 15 minutes, or it will just get carried away. So if we're at the lows, I'll get in. If we're pulled back to the middle, I'll probably give it 10 or 15 minutes to establish itself, because we quite often get a whipsaw at the open and then drop. But all indices down on the session, and obviously we're getting quiet now, so what else to do? Aussie New Zealand I'm not in. Aussie yen, sorry, Aussie yen I'm not in yet. I still haven't got the reversal out. Look. Oh my god. Why didn't I get an Aussie yen long? Why am I not in that? Oh no. Auto training's turned off. Oh god. I switched accounts. Oh my god, what an idiot. Right, Aussie yen. Going to take a manual long on Aussie yen, because I should have got in on that with 0.18. Okay, long Aussie yen. There we go. Right, that's me done for the day. Learn how to use an EA, Lee. So that's me done for the day. I'm just going to watch for the rest of this session. We're getting some decent buyers coming in at the moment. So we are pushing up. So potential good looking short at that 73 level on the ES. But I'll wait until it gets up there and then have a look at what happens. And watch out for any bulls that's stepping in close to that level. We might get another flush down before New York opens, but that news is at 1:30. So I think potentially what we're waiting for is the GDP figures. Sorry, not the GDP figures. The GDP figures for the CAD and obviously PCE. So we'll get some volatility coming in then. Just have to be careful because obviously it can push it up as well as down. So yeah, very much a Ricky mistake. I've lost track of the amount of times I've answered that question in the Telegram group. I've put the EA on the chart, it's not taking trades. Can you have a look? And I look at the set file and it's like, set file's fine. Have you put it in the strategy tester? Is it working? Yeah, it's working fine in the strategy tester. Have you got automated trading turned on? Oh. There you go. It's that easy. Right, I'll leave you there. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group. I've seen some people asking about jigsaw coupons in there. I'll get those in there in a second. I don't know why they're not working, but so yeah, I'll update you in the Telegram group any new trades I'm taking, and obviously I might do. Well, I will be trading futures this afternoon, so I'll pop in there what I'm looking at. But yeah, I'll be looking bearish this afternoon. Okay, guys, have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7:50, same time. Anything you need, come in Telegram, and good luck this afternoon.